What's going on? It's me. I am making this quick video today to bring you a quick tip on how to ask for forgiveness, especially when you are trying to ask someone to forgive you, or you're trying to forgive someone else, so that you can bring in this frequency and vibration that is forgiveness, so that you can do some transmutation. And this is kind of especially important as people are doing a lot of shadow work or inner child healing or just past trauma, past life healing. This is a great tip to know when you're trying to delve into those energies and do these kinds of transmutations. So if you don't know and you want to know, or if you're curious, stay tuned. Hey! It's me, Loretta, or Trinity 6, and welcome back to my channel, The Limitless Infinite, a space for you to align your mind to higher vibrations and higher frequencies. So I just wanted to make this quick tip video today, and it has to do about forgiving, or asking people to forgive you, or forgiveness, however you want to think about it. And I think it's really relevant right now because so many people are doing shadow work, or inner child healing, or past life healing, or traumatic event healing, or just present life healing. And forgiveness is such a huge part of it. Forgiveness and the frequency and vibration of forgiving is really a frequency that allows us to transmute the discordant cords or connections that we have with people, or even other sentient beings, where we want to do a transmutation and heal this discordant energy. And so I just had this quick kind of revelation or epiphany the other day that sometimes when we need to specifically ask people to forgive us, so you have done a traumatic, or you have been in a traumatic event or experience with someone, and whether you're in it or whether it's after, and you've thought about it and you go back to it and you realize, man, that wasn't, I was really not nice to this person, or I really hurt this person a lot, and I think I need to go ask them for forgiveness. And a lot of times I think we struggle, or our ego can sometimes struggle, asking someone specifically to forgive them, like, oh, hey, will you forgive me for this? And I think part of that can sometimes be a delicate situation, because sometimes you can get in that situation, be really honest and really sincere and really genuine, reach the state of really true empathy, ask someone, hey, I'm asking you to forgive me for screaming in your face the other day. And sometimes other people are just like, no, I don't want to, I'm not there. They're just not in that right place to give that forgiveness to you. And then it makes it really challenging. Or it can be an event that was in the past, it's something in the past, or someone that you don't talk to or you don't connect to. And then you're like, how do I heal this? Because how do I ask this person from 20 years ago to forgive me, when I don't have any direct contact with them? And part of it is like your belief, you can just like put it out there to the universe, and you can just ask this person and hope that connection is made, or just know that connection is made and the transmutation will happen. But I think sometimes we get caught in our mind. We have definite, certain programs and things in our experience that sometimes can limit our belief or our knowing that something's actually happening. And so the thing that I realized the other day is asking for forgiveness instead of asking someone specifically to forgive you. And I think that you have to know, if you were like really not a nice person and you did something really bad to somebody, you have to know in your being, if your being's telling you, hey, you need to go to that house and you need to talk to that person and you need to ask them for forgiveness, or to forgive you, this can be an indicator. You have to be able to discern if that's what needs to happen. Sometimes it's something really small, or it's not, or like I said, if it's in the past, or it's shadow work, maybe it's just a part of you that you want to ask to forgive you, or for forgiveness. That a lot of times the first way people direct that question and that inquiry is to say, hey, will you forgive me? And sometimes stated in those words, it can be a little more challenging. And I realized that the difference of saying, hey, I'm asking for forgiveness. So you pose to somebody and saying, hey, I'm asking you to forgive me. Because when you say I'm asking you, all of a sudden it's the individual. And a lot of times what you deal with when you ask the individual is the ego. And so sometimes that's, I think, where people get into more limiting. When you're asking you, the individual, I'm asking you to forgive me. I think sometimes people get into that state of like, no, I'm not ready, but, and they don't want to do it. But I realized just changing the words a little bit and saying, I'm asking for forgiveness. I'm not asking you to forgive me. I'm asking for forgiveness. And I think really, now that I'm thinking about it, it's like you're really invoking in this new experience, this new situation when you're asking, is for this person to engage with you in bringing in this frequency of forgiveness and allowing this transmutation to happen. So instead of saying, hey, you, the individual, I need you to forgive me, it's basically like giving them all the power and giving them like that wand to magically forgive you. And basically, this is a little more one-directed, you know. You're asking somebody to find within themselves, to be empowered within themselves, to directly send you the frequency that is them forgiving you. And sometimes this is really difficult, especially when it's been a really traumatic or negative event and people are not necessarily ready. Maybe they have other traumas and other experiences that make it more challenging or more difficult for them to allow this transmutation to come directly from them, as in the I that you asked for. But when you say, hey, instead of saying, hey, Sam, please forgive me, if you say, hey, Sam, I'm asking for forgiveness. And what that is if you can even just say it out loud to yourself, you realize the difference in the frequency and vibration. Like, hey, Sam, will you forgive me? Do you forgive me? Please forgive me. Or, hey, Sam, I'm asking for forgiveness. You know, I'm asking for forgiveness. And if you say it to yourself, you realize it's just a little bit different. One is like you're putting all the eggs kind of in the basket and in their hand, and then basically waiting for them to give that back to you. And another one saying, I'm asking for forgiveness because I know that forgiveness is a frequency and vibration, and I want you to engage right now in this moment of bringing in this frequency and vibration so that we can transmute together. And really that's understanding that we as individuals, like me personally, and I've thought this before, which is that it can be very ego-based when we start asking individuals like, or that somebody did something to me and I'm going to forgive them. Okay, that's sometimes when you think like that, I think for me personally, my perspective is that comes a little bit from the ego. Sometimes if you have someone that's truly connected and they're like connected to their higher self and they understand the power of the frequency and vibration of forgiveness, sometimes coming from the individual, maybe they could without having the ego be really present. But that's something else too. When we ask individuals, hey, do you forgive me? You already hold within you. If you're asking, you're holding in your own empowerment the frequency and vibration of forgiveness already, because you're saying to yourself, in the moment of asking, I have gone through my experience, I have brought in empathy, and I am genuinely, truthfully, sincerely understanding what I did wrong, or understanding the negative, discordant energies that I brought in, and now I'm ready to transmute. When you go to ask, that's you being ready. If you're being sincere, you can do the transmutation of this too individually, even when you, instead of going and saying, I need to go tell this person, they yelled at me, and I'm gonna say, I forgive you. And that's kind of like almost sometimes feeling like you have the upper hand or something, that you are now bestowing on them the ability for them to not have to feel bad about this situation. But I think real transmutation is understanding, like, I just want, I'm gonna release this, that you can go say this to this person, or you can say the same thing, you did this to me and I just wanna bring in this frequency. I mean, you could say, I wanna bring in this frequency of, of forgiveness. I'm offering, or I want you to feel that you have been forgiven. It's more of a situation when you're asking to receive forgiveness, or that you're asking someone to forgive you. And maybe we'll do a separate video about transmutation the other way around, when you are feeling like you want to give it to someone. But like I said, this is just the important thing that I wanted to note, that when you ask, it's important that you bring in this frequency as a way to transmute the experience between you, and that it is a different level of thinking and of awareness than asking the individual for it. And both are good. I'm certainly not saying that it's bad. If you really feel in your being that you need to say, hey, Sam, forgive me for this, please forgive me, then you do that. You have to do what feels right to you. But know that this is a kind of a quick tip and tool, is to just ask for forgiveness so that you can join together in an experience of transmutation, and not make your transmutation completely dependent on somebody else being ready to give it to you. And so that's the tip. Hopefully that is helpful. If you have any questions or comments, please leave them down below, and I will see you in my next video. I'm gonna make another short clip video about the difference between saying I'm sorry, apologizing, and forgiveness, so stay tuned for that one too. 3 different levels depending on the situation, but if you are interested in knowing more about it, then stay tuned and check out that video too.